Have you ever had a pad of watercolor paper but wished it was a block? Or maybe you just want to create your own blocks of watercolor paper in a custom size. It's really quite easy, and today I'm going to show you how you can do it. This is my book press that Lou made for me, and if you don't have one of these, you can actually just use a stack of heavy books if you need to. You just need something that you can press the paper between to keep it nice and tight together along the edges. I have my pad and book compound by Line Co. This is what I'm going to be binding the edge with. I have a little container to put some of it in and a brush that I often use for this process because the width is just right for any size block or pad of paper that I have that I'm working with. Okay, I have tape because we have to make sure we leave a spot open. I got these Fluid 100. Now these they call blocks. And this Fluid 100 paper I chose for my latest curated collection. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll leave a link to what those are in probably up here or in the video description. So these Fluid 100 blocks, unlike a regular block, they would just have a small space open for you to, put like a palette knife in and remove it from the block. They have the entire edge open. So this entire edge you can access along with this entire edge. So both short ends are open. And when I first painted on this, I found that still allowed for some buckling, and paper on a block can buckle, but because it is sealed down on all edges, it tends to dry flat and, return nice and flat once it's completely dry. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to gum these up on both sides so that they're all bound like a regular block. Now to do that, I'm just going to take some tape. I need to make sure that I leave an opening so that I will be able to put my palette knife in and remove it after. So I'm just going to cut a piece of tape. And on the end of the current block, I'm going to set my tape wherever I want to have it remain open. I think I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller because this is just a 4x6 block. And honestly, as long as my palette knife will be able to fit in there, that's all I need to get that started for removing it. So there we go. All I have to do is place this on the end. And now, once I put all of the glue on there, I'll be able to remove this and I'll have a spot to remove my paper. So I'm going to do this one, and I'm also going to do the 6x8. Because this one is definitely, like, you can really see, there's quite the gap there. This is kind of loose. And I think that might allow it to buckle a little bit more than I would want. So again, just put a piece of tape where you want to be able to access and be able to remove it. I'm pressing down with my hands on the paper so that those sheets kind of stay together. There we go. All right, I'll be able to remove this after, and when it's all done, I'll just warm this up with my heat tool and that masking will come right off without any issues. Okay, so again, my block is done. Now all I have to do is put these into my press, and this one's actually missing a couple sheets because I did some demonstration on this one. So I'm gonna have to do these separate. Now these are both 15 sheets, and if they were both brand new, they would be exactly the same height. And I mean, they're pretty close. I might be able to get away with it because when we do the press, you don't want one that's thicker than the other. You need them to be of the exact same height if you're going to do multiple. I think I'm just going to give it a try. So in my press, I have my little cranks loosened here. I can lift this up, and I'm going to set my block inside here. And I put it right to the edge. Set that down. And I'm making sure it's right at the edge because I'm going to need to be able to get in with my brush and paint the glue on that. And then I just tighten it down. I just alternate corners. Whether or not it's a necessity or, you know, it's just the way I like to do it. But I crank that down so it's nice and tight, because I want to press those pages together as snugly as I can. And then it's just going to be a matter of getting some of my pad and book compound, and I won't need a lot. I will not need a lot to do this. Put some in this little, that might be more than enough. And then I take my brush, put that glue on it. So lift this up. There we go. And just paint it on. Any excess that gets on the wood, it comes right off. I don't need it real thick. I just need to make sure that I get all of the edge. There we go. And I let that dry, and then I repeat it on the other side. So once I have the other side done, I will show you what it all looks like. But there we go. That is how you can create your own block. Now, if I was creating a block from scratch, I always save the backboards when I finish up a block or a pad, and you can use these, cut them to whatever size you want, cut your watercolor paper, and then you can just press them all together and gum all the edges, again leaving a spot with some tape so that you can access to remove it from the block. And that's it. You can create your own blocks in any size that you want. I use the Line Co pad and book compound and just an old brush and whatever your favorite watercolor paper is. Or if you have a pad or a block that's not gummed on all four sides that you want to be, it's that simple. Also to mention, as soon as I am finished with this brush, when this glue is wet, I always rinse that out immediately, and I've never had problems with it ruining this brush. I've used this same brush for quite some time now. It's just a 5/8 inch flat brush. That's what I use. So I just scrub that out with paint puck in my rinse well. Actually, I use my paint puck rinse well, and there we go. That will dry and there will be no residue, and I'll be able to use it again next time. The first ends are dry. I'm going to loosen this up, and if it's stuck to your wood, you just easy to release. Take that out. So this end is all sealed. No longer can get in there, but I will be able to remove the tape. Take my 4x6 out, and I'm just going to turn them around and place them back in. Just bring them right to the edge. I'm hoping that when we get our website all up and running, that we will actually have some of these available that you can purchase if you would want to create your own blocks and not have to, make a press yourself. And if you have clamps, any two hard flat objects, you can press between them. You just need to clamp it down tight. You can also, paste it on there and then set it, protect whatever books that you're going to put on. Put a piece of glassine or something on top and then press them between like a stack of heavy books. You could do that as well. Okay, now I'm just going to repeat the process on this other end. I'm just making sure that I am connecting it to the book board that's on the bottom and covering all of the ends of the paper. And the cover of my block is folded under. Should I actually glue it to the cover, it's not a big deal. All I have to do is put my palette knife in from the end and just release it. And that might happen the way that it was looking right now. And if it does, I will show you how I take it off. And that one is done. Now to do my little block, that'll be all set. Now, sometimes you can get a little bit of the glue along that edge of the top page. One of the ways that you can fix that so it doesn't happen is by putting a scrap paper, like just a piece of printer paper or something on top of your top page. And then when you're done, you would just remove that one, that scrap page from your block. The Meeden blocks, when you get those in, they come with a scrap paper on top that has protected that first page from, any glue getting on it and damaging the edge, which I really like. All right, and I got a little bit on the wood here, which is not a problem. I just wash that off, or I can let it dry and it'll just scrape off. But there we go. I'm going to let that dry and we'll take a look at our final result. Let's go ahead and get these out of the press. Go. Get the press out of the way. Now, like I said, my cover is stuck. But all I have to do is come in here and release that with my palette knife. Same with the other side. That is released, and it's that simple to release your page from the block as well. And then we have our tape, which let me just release this lid. So when you were releasing your paper, you would just put your palette knife in the block and run it right along the sides. It releases very easy. I'm just going to loosen my tape from my paper so that I can remove it. If I can get it to start, we'll be all set. There we go. Let's peel that tape up and off it comes. And there we go. Now we have a spot where our palette knife can just go right in between our pages, just like that, and we can separate it from our block. But now my Fluid 100, these are gummed much thicker, but I find I don't need to have this that thick for it to work just fine. If I wanted to do another coat, I could, but I think that this is more than adequate to hold it in place. And yeah, now I have a block of Fluid 100 that is gummed on all four sides. This should help keep that nice and flat when I'm painting. So same with this guy. I'm just gonna get this tape. I just can't grab it today. It's usually not that difficult. There we go. Yeah, and I did a little mark on my paper right there. It pulled with the tape. You can avoid that. Just put a, little scrap piece of like printer paper to protect your top page, and you won't have to worry about if your tape sticks to anything on the page. This isn't a problem. I will just tape my border off when I do this next, whatever I paint on this next, and nobody will ever know but you. So yep, there you go. You can see that edge. You can see that edge right here, and there's my opening. So instead of having the opening like on the wide side, like some of them have it like up here at the top, whether it's held this way or this way. It's usually, at the top. Mine is at the bottom. It's fine. Here, it's on the left side. So it doesn't matter. As long as you have a spot to go in and remove your piece of paper, that's all you need. I hope that you found that helpful, and maybe you'll give it a try. They're super simple to make, and you can create any size that you like to work in. Drop me a comment and let me know, what do you think of creating your own blocks? Is it something you're going to try? I hope you will. It's really not too difficult. Pad and book compound, I will link it in the description below. And again, I just use an old brush, and that's it. Super simple. Create whatever size block you like to work on from whatever your favorite paper is. Do you buy it in loose sheets? I did that with my B cotton watercolor paper. I created blocks out of it because I liked to work with a block and not have to worry about my paper buckling. So I hope you will give this a try. Until next time, my friends, I'm going to pop a video up right here that you might like to watch next. In the meantime, keep creating, and I'll see you in a video real soon. Bye.